Being a CEO has its challenges. Yes, they're the risk takers who probably started the firm and built it up with their own legacy in mind. But to put it mildly, the outcome is often quite lucrative. Additionally, CEOs have a large impact on the global economy, politics, and fundraising because of their enormous wealth. In 2022, Forbes predicts that there will be 2,668 CEO billionaires worldwide. Many of these well-off CEOs started the companies in the technology sector and have kept a sizable portion of their fortune in those businesses.
Welcome to Billionista. If you love videos about luxury living, please subscribe and click the bell so you never miss a video. And don't forget to like and share too.
Number 10. Shantanu Narayan. Working in a creative area increases your likelihood of paying this man's income every time you start up your computer and run a certain program. Adobe's current CEO is Shantanu Narayan. In 2019, he was paid a total of $39.1 million as CEO. The corporation makes $11.2 billion in annual revenue. He's made so much money. But how did he do it? He was born and raised in India, where he earned a bachelor's degree in electronics and communication. While studying for his MBA at the University of California at Berkeley, he relocated to the United States, where he promptly began working in the financial services industry. Apple was Shantanu's first large employer. He went on to become the director of desktop and collaboration products for Silicon Graphics. He rose through the ranks there before accepting a position as Senior Vice President of Worldwide Product Research at Adobe in 1998. Because of his efforts, he was elevated to the position of CEO before the end of 2007. As a result of his leadership, Adobe became a Fortune 400 company and has grown in revenue each year thereafter. Number 9. Bill McDermott. Bill McDermott serves as CEO at ServiceNow. With $3.5 billion in annual revenue, Bill is paid $41.7 million per year at the tender age of 16. Bill purchased a delicatessen in Long Island, New York for $7,000. As a student at Dowling College, he went on running that deli and used the money it made to pay for his education. After completing his management training at Northwestern, he began looking for new opportunities before becoming the executive vice president of sizable Systems. He spent 17 years working in various capacities at Xerox. In 2002, he was made CEO of SAP America, a German-based software business founded in 2002. In 2014, he became the first American to hold the position of CEO of SAP as a whole. The company's value rose from $39 billion to $159 billion as a result of his efforts. After a few years of working with SAP, he decided to go to ServiceNow and became CEO there. Number 8. Lachlan Murdoch. Lachlan Murdoch is the only CEO on our list who isn't self-made. A whopping $42.1 million was paid to Fox Corporation's current CEO, Lachlan Fox, in salary and benefits in 2019. Lachlan was born into a life of privilege as a result of his father, Rupert Murdoch's founding of the News Corporation. Lachlan grew up between New York City and Aspen. Australia's first national newspaper, The Australian, was published by him as he continued his father's footsteps in the media. As of the year 2000, he held the position of Deputy COO of News Limited. After that, he became Executive Vice President and subsequently Chairman of the board there. He was encouraged to invest in OneTel by a buddy. It turned out that his investment was fated to fail, and he received harsh criticism from his colleagues. When the company failed, Murdoch agreed to pay out $40 million as a result. After this, he abruptly resigned from his position in 2005. It was at this point that Illyria Pty was created by him, a private investment business that invested in numerous companies, and one of them was Nova Entertainment Inc. 2014 saw him return to the family firm as a co-chairman of News Corporation, a position he only held for 1 year before moving on to be executive chairman of 21st Century Fox. But when that company was bought out by Disney in 2019, he was named CEO of Fox Corporation, where he remains to this day. Number 7. Satya Nadella. You've probably heard of Microsoft, but Satya Nadella, the current CEO, may be unfamiliar to you. His total CEO remuneration for the year 2019 was $42.9 million. He began his career as a software engineer at Sun Microsystems before moving on to Microsoft in 1992. He had an immediate impact on Microsoft's success. He was in charge of important initiatives, most notably the shift to cloud computing. During his tenure, cloud income increased from $16.5 billion to $20.3 billion. He was the Online Services Division Senior Vice President of Research and Development. After that, he was promoted to the position of President of Microsoft's Server and Tools Division. In 2014, he became the third CEO in the company's history to make the helm. His compensation at the time was $700,000 a year, although it has since increased. As CEO, he's made significant acquisitions, the first of which was Mojang, the video game business best known for its block-building game Minecraft, for approximately $2.55 billion. In addition, he paid $26.2 billion for LinkedIn and $7.5 billion for GitHub. Number 6. Miguel Patricio. Kraft Heinz CEO Miguel Patricio is a well-known figure in the food industry. During the course of 2016, he received $43.3 million in pay as CEO of the company. A business degree from Sao Paulo's university prompted Miguel's departure to Brazil from Portugal, where he was born. He worked at Philip Morris, Coca-Cola, and Johnson & Johnson, all of which employed him in executive positions. He spent 2 decades at Anheuser-Busch, during which time he served as the company's chief marketing officer, president, and CEO. After that, he went on to become CEO of Kraft Heinz, where he remains currently. Before we continue, I'd like to hear from you about your impressions of the aforementioned CEOs. Comment below and tell us what you think. I'd love to hear from you and open a discussion with you. Number 5. David Zaslav. In 2019, he received a total remuneration package of $45.8 million as CEO. Having been born and raised in the city of New York, David went on to earn his legal degree from Boston University School of Law. Unexpectedly, he began his career as an attorney before switching to NBC Universal, where he remained for the next 2 decades. He was in charge of content distribution as the head of cable and domestic television for most of his career. Channels including Bravo, the Weather Channel, the USA Network, AMD, the History Channel, and Sundance were all under this guy's leadership. In January 2007, he was named CEO of Discovery, and the company went public for the first time a year later. Zaslav helped cement Discovery's important 12-year partnership with the PGA Tour, which gained them rights to over 2,000 hours of live footage annually. Number 4. John C. Plant. John C. Plant is the oldest CEO on our list and is currently the CEO of HomeMet Aerospace. He has been in the company for a long time and makes a lot of money. His income in 2019 was $51.7 million. He's been in the management positions in the automobile industry for a very long time. He was the CEO of Lucas Verity, a UK-based automotive parts manufacturer. John became chairman of Lucas Verity after it was purchased by TRW Automotive. He was a long-term success at TRW. More than 65,000 workers were employed in more than 190 TRW plants during his leadership. John was CEO of Arconic Incorporated for 2 years after he left TRW when it was acquired by ZF Friedrichshafen. After that, he went to work for Homet Aerospace, which makes jet engines and other components for the aerospace industry. Number 3. Lisa Su. Lisa Su has persevered in the face of adversity in order to reach to the top of her profession. To put it in perspective, in 2019, her total CEO remuneration was $58.5 million. She is currently the CEO of Advanced Micro Devices. Her first employment out of college was at Texas Instruments, where she worked in the technical department. She then moved on to IBM's Semiconductor Research and Development Center, where she subsequently progressed to work for IBM as vice president. During her time there, she made a significant impact on the development of novel materials for use in microchips. As a result of her efforts, she was promoted to the position of technical assistant to IBM's CEO. After that, she rose to the position of director of new goods. She soon ended up as general manager of Advanced Micro Devices, a semiconductor business that creates computer processors, eventually progressing to CEO of that company. Number 2. Bob Swan. He is a great example of someone who has worked in a variety of roles. As Intel's current Chief Executive Officer in 2019, he received a staggering $66.9 million compensation. Bob spent 15 years at General Electric in a variety of top finance positions. He rose to the position of CEO of GE Transportation Systems, then Vice President of GE Medical Systems in Europe, before being named CEO of GE. Then, he became Vice President of Finance and then CFO of GE Lighting. He then took on the role of a Chief Financial Officer of Webvan, where he remained until the company went bankrupt. Next, he moved to Northrop Grumman Space and Mission Systems firms as their Chief Financial Officer. After that, he even served as CFO of HP Enterprise Services and eBay. As a result, he had experience in a number of diverse fields. In 2018, he finally took on the position of CEO of Intel. Number 1. Sundar Pichai. He is the world's highest paid CEO. A whopping $280.6 million was paid to Sundar Pichai for his work in 2019. Metallurgical engineering was Sundar's first degree, followed by an MS and an MBA from Stanford and the University of Pennsylvania, respectively. He worked as a material engineer for Google Chrome, where he began his career in 2004. He rose through the ranks to become CEO of Alphabet Incorporated, where he oversaw the development of Gmail, Google Maps, and Android. When it comes to his job as CEO, he has a reputation for being level-headed, empathic, and attentive. His staff gave him an approval rating of 96, which is pretty high. When it comes to meetings, he's notorious for speaking very little and allowing other people to contribute ideas also. So billionistas, do you think these CEOs are deserving of their astronomical salaries? Or do you think they're simply overpaid? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this time. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.